Okay, here's a terrible one. I don't like the framing of it, but I think the question is important. So text only version in the Discord says terrible and completely hypothetical news. Martin Odegaard has been injured and he's out for 10 games after the international break. Now our squad is locked in until January. Who steps in and how do we function? I find this question fascinating because while everybody was clamoring for us to add a forward, before Sterling came in, we still had 5 good forwards, and they were the same 5 that got us our 92, 91, whatever it is, goals last season. In midfield, I think things are a lot murkier. So you got 10 Premier League games plus all the Champions League games plus all that without Odegaard. How are you getting through it?
So 2 versions of the answer right now, and when Marino's fit, because when Marino's fit, you got options, and you could play Havertz at right 8. You can actually play Marino at right 8 and drop Havertz in at left 8. Without Marino, your options are getting pretty thin because so Nwaneri, I think, would really get a chance to show what he can do, but you can't be playing him for 90 minutes. He might have a good game, but he won't have 3 good games in a row, because that's not what happens with kids. So what's your option? We're pretty thin there, right? I mean, there isn't a great option. I think you're like what I would be tempted to try out as a radical approach, if we're looking for, apart from the obvious, well, you could play Havertz there and then Rice at left 8 and then Partey as the DM. If we wanted something a little more creative, I would try Partey out in the Odegaard role. Now, he's not much of a presser, so you're going to lose out on the whole thing Odegaard does from a pressing standpoint. But you could use other players to press and have Partey drop back into the midfield. But Partey is the right 8, clever passer, physical presence, creative. He can do a lot for you if you give him the freedom. No, don't do that to me, Elliot. If you give him the freedom to stay up the pitch, put Rice as your DM, Havertz as the left 8 maybe, or you got Jorginho behind them now. You got trouble whatever way you slice it. There's no great answer, but I think Partey can do a job at the right 8. I don't think we'll ever see it, because who fills in behind him? We're pretty thin at right 8, basically.
I think this is the thing that I most don't understand about what we've done this summer. And it flows into another question that we can get to, because we have left ourselves with a very small squad. Silent Fox 1 asks, are we taking a giant risk with such a small squad? We were generally lucky on the injury front last season. I think lucky, sort of not, right? Obviously, we lost Timber for the whole season. We had a couple of other injuries, but by and large, yeah, we were pretty lucky. Look, there is no creative midfielder in the team apart from Odegaard. He's the only one. He's literally the only one. Marino does a bit of that, but not much of it. And I think the idea that you could play Marino at right 8 and Kai at left 8, to me, just for me, does not work, because Marino is not a high volume, possession oriented passer. Kai is not either. Martin Odegaard is a high volume 90% passer who passes efficiently when he drops deeper, and also passes efficiently when he moves up the pitch, and also takes shots, and also provides creativity for Saka and the striker, Havertz, whoever it is. I don't think we have another one. And the thing that's stunning to me, and people are going to roll their eyes out of their head, I cannot believe we let Fabio Vieira leave. I can't believe it. Look, Fabio Vieira has shown us very, very little. But Fabio Vieira is a senior footballer who is a last third midfielder who can take shots and provide assists. Like, he can. I'm not saying he's great at it, but he can. We literally don't own another player that has that profile other than a 17-year-old Nwaneri. And I think Nwaneri, when I watched him anyway, is a lovely connective tissue player. But I'm not sure the last third stuff is in his game yet. And that's natural for a 17-year-old, because that's the stuff that comes latest. So do I think Nwaneri should get minutes this season? I certainly do. I think he should get important minutes this season. But if Odegaard was out for 10 games, you're talking about stuff like Thomas Partey at the 8. You're talking about stuff like a 17-year-old at the 8 in a season where we want to get over 90 plus points. And the one guy that you could have said, hey, we bought him to be Odegaard's backup. Here's his moment. We got rid of him and left ourselves, in my opinion, with a single point of failure in Martin Odegaard. And by the way, we don't even have to think, what if he's out for 10 games? Who's going to play Atalanta away? Are we going to start him Spurs away, Atalanta away, City away? Probably. Are we going to start him Chelsea away, Inter away, Liverpool at home? You know, that run? Probably. Is Martin Odegaard going to play every single game every 3 days this season? I know Mikel probably intends to do that, and I know there are players that do that. But I think it is a single point of failure, Paul, that more than any other position on the pitch is I think a place we don't naturally have any kind of alternative.